Our phone meeting in order. You guys for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is the regularly scheduled Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Wednesday, April 1st. I get a roll call of members, please.
Mayor Land,
Here.
Betsy Barnes, Bob Clemens,
Here.
Jim Crook,
Here.
and Billy Gomez.
Here.
For President.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a quorum this morning. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the prior meeting, which was held on Wednesday, March 18th. So motion for approval
A second.
in a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Addition of new items, we have nothing today to add. So jumping ahead under presentations, we are fortunate enough to be swearing in our next Crown Point police officer, Maverick. You want to come on up?
Yeah, hi, we're proud to announce the hiring of Maverick Zormeyer. Maverick was born in Hobart, Indiana, later moved to Valparaiso, where he currently resides. He's a 2023 graduate of Boone Grove High School, where he played both football and baseball. Following high school, Maverick entered the Operating Engineers Local 150 Apprenticeship Program. In July of 2025, Maverick was sponsored by the Crown Point Police Department and attended the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. He graduated as a member of the class 2554 with an academic average of 96.15, ranking 5th in his class. Maverick comes from a strong law enforcement family. His father, Rick, is a former chief of the Hobart Police Department, and his mom, Judy, is also a former Hobart police officer. Please join us in welcoming Officer Maverick Zormeyer, badge 137.
137. All right, Maverick, you ready for your oath?
Yes.
All right, so raise your right hand, and then I, and then you'll state your name. Okay. I
I, Maverick Zormeyer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana.
and I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties as a police officer
discharge my duties as a police officer
of the Crown Point Police Department
of the Crown Point Police Department
according to the laws of the State of Indiana
according to the laws of the State of Indiana
and the rules of the Crown Point Police Department
and the rules of the Crown Point Police Department
as prescribed by the mayor,
as prescribed by the mayor,
chief of police,
chief of police,
and the Board of Public Works and Safety, so help me God.
the Board of Public Works and Public Safety, so help me God.
Congratulations, buddy. An actual pinning today. So there's your patrolman badge. So the floor is yours if you want to say anything to, first of all, we have our Crown Point officer contingent. Thank you very much for coming. And then we have our Hobart contingent, former Chief Zormeyer and Hobart police officers there too. So I'm a Hobart chief. So thank you very much for coming and support of Maverick. But anything you want to say?
I look forward to serving the citizens of Crown Point.
Very well said. All right. Here's your oath that you just took. Jim, you want to come on up? We're gonna get a quick picture.
You look here, big smiles. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2.
All right, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, sir. Okay, second one under presentation is to accept and open bids for the Community Crossings Grant. Greg, can you give a quick snapshot to the board of what the Community Crossings Grant is?
Yeah, the Community Crossings Grant's an annual program for the state of Indiana, which applies matching grant funds to eligible communities. We submitted an application for funds for 2026 paving. Originally, we weren't selected, as were many communities. With that, in the last short session, the legislator appropriated, I think, additional 75 million to the program. We were contacted by the state to submit the roads that we submitted an original application, receive the bids, then submit them to our local NDOT office with the direction that funds will be available through that additional appropriation. So we went through the process as requested. The bids are here. Once received, we will submit them to NDOT report, and with a very good chance to have those funds received by the community. So going through the process, we'll open these bids, submit them to Laporte, and then hopefully receive the funds.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Alex?
Thank you, Mayor. We have two bids. The first one is from Milestone Contractors LP. Total amount on that bid is $1,983,671.90. That's $1,983,671.90. And then I do have a second sheet here that says striping, $36,872.50. Again, that was $36,872.50. Next bid is from Reith Riley Construction. That bid amount is $2,230,940.82. $2,230,940.82. The striping amount does not have a total. Probably do it here real quick.
On the first page.
On the first page. Oh, there you go. Thank you. $37,142.50 on the striping amount alone. $37,142.50. Mayor, my recommendation, as we've done in the past, would be to take these under advisement pending engineering and legal review.
Okay, thanks, Alex. So then we will bring this then to the board for questions or actions.
So move, Mayor, as presented.
So that you're having a motion to accept Milestone pending final engineering and legal review.
Yes.
And we have a second
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Greg. Alex. Old business, there is no utility update, so Al is not here today. So we'll move on to first up under new business, request approval of MOU regarding vehicle stipend agreement with HIDA. Jim?
Hi, morning, Mayor and Board. Looking for approval for the MOU between us and the Indiana HIDA in reference to the vehicle stipend paid to us monthly. It'll be for the task force officer that we have with HIDA. It'll be a $700 per month stipend that's paid to the department for the vehicle.
So the board may know, and correct me if I'm wrong, so we've had an officer assigned to the HIDA task force for many years. They usually supply the officer with a vehicle. They're changing things, so now they're giving us a stipend at the $700 a month, and then we'll provide, which is next on the agenda, a car for that officer, correct?
Correct. yeah.
Okay. Alex, you good with the MOU?
Yes, David H. and I had reviewed that, and we recommend approval on it.
Okay. So bring this then to the board for questions of the PD or action.
So moved. I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the MOU. Any further discussion on the motion?
Chief, could I say
Sure.
something? Chief, on that there, the $700 a month, we have to do that every year? This will go for
No,
just
the
once a
lease-
year?
Well, coming up next will be the lease for the vehicle, so it'll be I believe it's a 6-year lease for the vehicle, but it'll be, every month we get that stipend.
So that'd be a new car?
Yes.
A new car.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
I second it.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, request approval of Crossroad Bank lease purchase agreement. Jim?
Yeah, you have a copy of the lease agreement between us and Crossroad Bank for the vehicle that we were looking at. So the total amount financed, or the lease, the total amount is $48,838. And the lease will be, like I said, for 6 years for the vehicle.
Okay, so then the $700 a month stipend from HIDA covers the
Correct.
cost of the monthly lease for us. Okay. Alex?
Yes, Mayor, we've reviewed that lease purchase agreement as well. We would recommend approval on it.
We'll bring this then to the board for questions or action. Okay, we have a motion to approve the lease agreement. We have a second. And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thanks, Jim. Number 3, request approval of authorization to utilize Uber Health and Lyft Business Transportation Services for the MIH program. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. This is not a contract or agreement, it's just accepting their terms of services for both Uber and Lyft. Both companies offer a service that's geared toward medical, getting people to medical appointments. This will be utilized through our MIH program, which we've had great success with so far in the short time it's been we've had in the last year. One of the big gaps we're finding for our citizens is they just don't have the means to go to the doctors or go to the pharmacy to get their prescriptions. They either don't have family around or neighbors that can help them out. So this helps bridge a huge gap that we've been noticing in a lot of our MIH patients that we've been taking on. Currently, our paramedics that are doing these MIH shifts are literally just taking them in their car and trying to drive around, which is great, but it's taking up time for us to be able to see more patients. So this isn't just for everybody. You have to be enrolled in our MIH program, and then you have to be eligible for us to utilize this service. So because most of these people are elderly, a lot of them don't even have smartphones. The Uber and Lyft program allows us, the MIH providers, to set up the Lyft ride or the Uber ride for a certain date, for a certain time, to a certain location. They're trained, they obviously go through the normal background checks that Uber and Lyft make you do, but they go through some additional training for elderly people with walkers. Some of them can even do wheelchairs, bigger vans. So it is a great service for us. We'll be paying for that out of our MIH grant funds that we have. So in order to utilize them, you just have to accept agree to their terms and services for both companies.
So is this something, chief, is there a expected implementation date on on this part of the program?
Probably as quick as today. I mean, I think there's like an account stuff we have to set up through both, but we can do that pretty quickly.
Okay. And great job putting it together. I wasn't aware this was even in existence, so I can see this getting used a lot by our residents in need. It's a fantastic program, so. Alex, you good with the?
Yes, Mayor, we reviewed the terms and conditions for both companies and don't see any concerns there.
So bring this then to the board for questions of the chief or action. You have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? And chief, just so if I'm my family member is a user, then and I use it once, is there a cost to me?
So we haven't, that's gonna be a policy we're gonna set up within MIH. You know, if the person has the means to pay for it, that's gonna be the first step. If they don't, then, you know, like I said, you have to be eligible to even be in the MIH program.
Right.
So that's already a small population that usually can't afford, you know, their own ride by other means. So we have a good amount of MIH grant money available set aside for transportation costs.
Okay.
And you're looking at just, you know, a couple of dollars per ride to get around town.
Right.
We're not going to be paying for, you know, doctor's appointments, you know, in Chicago or down in Indianapolis.
Right. Okay. Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I'm sure if you haven't, you and Mary have been communicating about getting the information out to the community. Okay. All right, nice job with it. Number 4, request approval to purchase 1999 Kentworth American Fire Rescue Walk-in Rescue Vehicle. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Mary's putting up some pictures of the vehicle in question we're looking to acquire. This came to us, this opportunity came to us kind of unexpectedly through Couts Fire Department in Porter County. They no longer have a need for it. They don't have space for it. So it was brought to our attention that this vehicle is available. Total price is $55,000. Like I've told people, I can't buy a pickup truck for that cost these days, and this is a specialized rescue truck. Although it's a 1999, it's still fairly new for fire truck standards. It's got 16,000 miles on it. It's in great condition. Terry White's approved the acquisition. Specifically is being purchased to replace our van that is being used as our fire truck. That van was never really designed or intended for use of being a dive water rescue truck. However, the previous truck to that died unexpectedly. We were kind of in a scramble to get something that was our something, but now we have the opportunity to pursue this acquisition. Just to compare, if we were trying to go out today to buy a brand new vehicle that serves the same function, we'd be anywhere between 380,000 and $500,000 for essentially the same thing. So
yeah,
at $55,000 plus cost of doing some retrofitting for a year, it's a great deal. So I am looking to get the approval to purchase said vehicle.
the total cost is 55,000. Cost of purchase.
Correct.
Said
55,000. Yeah. Alex, legal?
Yes, Mayor, we looked at the bill of sale. It's fully in compliance with the legal standards for such type of document. Had several conversations with the chief about the uniqueness of this vehicle and not being able to really find any comparables out there. So based on those factors, I would recommend approval on it.
Thanks, Alex. Then we'll bring this to the board for questions of the chief or.
Chief, once we get this thing, you're gonna outfit it with all the dive gear Department graphics and all of that, which would be an additional 25,000 immediately.
Yeah, so that 25,000 is kind of an estimated cost. The biggest chunk of that money is gonna be for fabrication of mounting our dive equipment. Currently, dive equipment's in the back of the step van. With this truck, we have the outside cabinets to be able to mount that stuff the outside. That's gonna require some specialized fabrication. Yeah, for that, the graphics, that's really the only thing. The paint colors already are paint, so it'll be painted. All the lights, tires, got a brand new generator on it.
So barring some unexpected twist, it'd be in operation this summer.
Yeah. The fabrication to be able to mount the dive gear is the biggest and really the only thing that we need to do to it before it goes into service.
Okay.
What would be the life of that truck? It's a used truck, it's good shape, I take it. If we had to buy one, you was telling us what would cost there. And how many miles a year do we generally put on something like this?
On our specialized vehicles, couple thousand miles.
Couple thousand miles, so it would last us in service for.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is the chassis itself. That's kind of what the mechanical part of it. That's in great shape. It's kind of worth. We can still get parts for it according to Terry. So if anything needs to be fixed on, parts are still available.
Well, Mayor, I see you signed off on this. I think it's a good deal, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, 55,000 compared to
Oh, yeah.
400 and up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's a great
So
deal.
They did a good job finding it and working it out. So, we have a motion to approve and a second. Further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Number 5, request approval of Just FOIA software. Bart?
Good morning. I am seeking board permission and approval to enter into an agreement with company Just FOIA. It's a software platform that would enable the city of Crown Point to handle an increased load of public records requests and just kind of streamline the process for multiple departments across the city. Our current platform, since we've put it online, it was custom built in-house, but since it's been put online, we have kind of been overwhelmed with public records requests. And so this software will just kind of allow everybody to be on the same page, handle the increased load of requests, and it also holds our staff accountable for those requests as well.
And I think a huge discussions on this advantages, like for the police department with their body cam videos, and it's pretty labor intensive of one receiving them and then accessing and setting aside the body cam videos, whether the person ends up making the purchase or not.
Correct.
Right. So that'll, okay.
This will be a game changer in particular for the police department.
And don't we as a city, like every community, we get just random, their
Correct.
computer generated
There's
FOIA
junk
requests.
requests that are not even being submitted by people. And it's becoming more and more common. So there are the software platforms, we demoed several of them. And this one in particular offers a filtering system to prevent those bots from spamming junk.
From even getting through to that level. Okay. Alex, legal?
The agreement itself is legally fit for what we're seeking to do with this FOIA program. On the program itself or the FOIAs themselves, I think
system.
All right, thanks, Alex. Then we'll bring this then to the board for questions of Bart. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second.
I think my question on the second.
Okay, we have
Part
a
of this,
second.
a really common used software for other municipalities out there. I mean, I don't know, in the FOIL world, is there 100 different softwares? And
There
where do
are
these guys fall into the equation?
correct. There are several different platforms. What we kind of did was compare to other communities in Indiana. A couple of communities that use this particular software platform are Noblesville and Plainfield. And then some of the competitors, there are other towns in Indiana that would use a competitor, that kind of stuff.
And we reached out to those municipalities to see what their
The experience
impression of
was
the
like.
software was.
Correct.
And it was all good. I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an eye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Bart.
Thank you.
Number 6, Graves Auto Supply Building update. So there's no action. I just wanted to give the Board of Works just an update on the status of the building. So I've been in communication over the last many months with Rich Graves from the Graves family. The last contact that I had with him was a couple of weeks ago, and they, through their insurance company, had brought in a structural engineer to do an assessment of the building inside and out above. And the Graves family is now waiting on that report to get submitted to the insurance company and what the next step in the process for the insurance line for their path. So, but as they're doing that, as I've told Mr. Graves, and he understands it, that the city has our due diligence that we have to pursue our path in parallel with their path. So on March 12th, through the building department, we had given Mr. Graves on behalf of the city that the first step in this building is deemed to be an unsafe building. Kind of goes without saying. So should it not be resolved prior to that, similar to the church, there'll be a hearing at the Board of Works. And in the letter that was given, that hearing scheduled for May 6th to be presented to the Board of Works on whether or not to uphold and find it to be an unsafe building. So I'm still hopeful that their insurance path will get to the finish line before ours. But like I said, we have our ordinance issue. We have to enforce the public safety component to it. So it's more just to keep the board aware. So if we do have this hearing at that May council meeting, you guys know it's coming down the pipe. So I'll continue to try to update the community after my conversations with Mr. Graves, just so the community is aware, but it's more just for information right now.
Yes, sir.
Would be nice there, being that that's across the park, over the sidewalk, is gonna keep that blocked off and not a.
Yeah. So we'll keep it blocked off. Like I said, it's right across from the park. That activity is going to be kicking up here come full park season. So that's another reason why we have to continue down our path to get a resolution to this. And then under miscellaneous, I just wanted to update, well, the board, but the community as well. I see it was in the mainstream media today. Throughout our annual road project season, we always communicate with the state, NDOT, on what projects they have in and around Crown Point on their state roads. So they have 2 pretty vast projects scheduled to start this fall and in Crown Point. And through our discussions and meetings with them, we had, although appreciative that they're investing the amount of money in infrastructure, the state, but in the city, if they could stagger those projects so they're not going on at the same time. That was listened to, but they have their own timeline that they need to follow and so forth. So it's more for the community. So starting the most recent, the Broadway, the culvert on Broadway just north of Summit Street. So Broadway will be closed as of right now from NDOT, starting April 13th for a period of 150 days. So not a short-term project. So obviously there'll be detour routes posted and so forth. And what people will do is they find their own way, whether it's a detour route or not, they find their own way around. So we're working in-house to, especially on West or East Summit Street, which is going to, East Summit and 109th are going to see significant amount of traffic increase. So we're working on that. The other one that will be going on as of right now anyway, at the same time, is the overpass on 113th Avenue. That's scheduled to have a full road closure beginning April 19th. And that's going to be right now through September. So both roads closed at the same time for a lengthy period of time. So wanted to let the community know. I think I saw it in the newspaper today. So we will be doing what we can to, knowing people will just jump on the local roads to help mitigate the traffic flow, those two closures, but they're coming at the same time. So wanted to, it's more for the community, but for the board, because we will undoubtedly get inundated with phone calls.
You know, Your Honor, you and I had a discussion on this also. Thank you for spending the time and letting me know too. Chief, I had talked to the mayor and I asked him some of the questions of how he thought he was going to implement this, and with you gentlemen there. Mayor, do you think that how much knowledge are we going to have to get out on this, letting these people know, and so that this up and says, hey, look what happened? Are we going to have some kind of a program that you think that you can let these people know these are going to be happening, and at the timeline of when it's going to start?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, I saw it was in the mainstream media today. I read it in
Yes.
the newspaper. It's, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's going to, if it hasn't already, take off on social media. Mary, through her office, will put it on the city's resources. But yeah, I mean, people don't necessarily care why a road's closed or who's closed it. They just know it's closed. So their first point of contact is the city or town they live in, which is us. So we want to make sure to get the word out as much as we can that these are state control projects. We don't control the timeline. We don't control when they start or end, but they impact our residents. So just continue to get the word out that these projects are needed and we're grateful they're doing them, but nevertheless will be impactful.
You know, this last situation with our roads here on 231, we have had semis going through Fashion Terrace. We had 3 so far that I was contacted on. And some of these, this is somebody that when we got people that's bringing stuff in and out, you know, these semis and that, how do we take and ever get that through to them and let them be aware? Will it just be they have to read it, or is there going to be anything? Is there any idea about this?
I mean, I found most semi-truck drivers are actually pretty good. They
Okay.
pay attention, but there's some that, you know, either they miss a sign or whatever, they're not familiar
Yes.
with where they're going. And they end up in no man's land, hence to your point,
They did.
they can't turn around, so
No.
they're out is Fashion Terrace. But the fact that we shouldn't have any, but the fact that there's just a few means most are paying attention to the signs. But I get it. I mean, it's and we got NIPSCO with their program about the pole replacement, line replacement. They got 4 crews out in Crown Point. The last we've heard, I think they're planning on finishing up, but not till the fall of Crown Point. So we'll have that going on too.
How big a load is this going to put on our standing police department now? Is that going to give them more? Chief, is that going to give
Yeah,
you more?
It'll be a little bit tricky, but you know, as these things go on, everybody will start getting used to it, and you know, we'll be there anywhere that there's a problem. We'll coordinate with EMA and we'll try and take care of everything as quickly and as easily as we possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, people will come up with their own new route
Yes, they do.
pretty quickly, but
Yeah.
it's still, I get it. Talk about it every month. It can be frustrating.
Do you think you may get on the I know you get on the radio once in a while. Would you ever be talking on the radio about this or anything?
I'll talk about it wherever we need to talk about it, certainly every month at my community meetings.
I know when the evenings and the mornings
Yeah.
is you know what. No, you know, and you know.
Anybody who drives in the morning and evenings realize people are going
I know.
a lot
Well,
of
we'll
places.
get through it.
We'll get
We
through it.
always do.
We always do.
Thanks
but
to you
just,
gentlemen, fire and police and our mayor and his board of works, we'll get through it.
Yes. So just to give an update.
Mayor, I had one question on that.
Yeah.
Said it's right at the, where Broadway and Summit meet just to the north, it's that ditch they're redoing right there.
Yes, correct.
That light already is kind of like timed very interesting.
Short
Holiday
for
time.
east-west.
Yeah, I guess one question I have, since it's gonna be 150 days,
Well,
do
you knew
we have
about
to
the
request
survey, didn't you?
to state, is there some
He said it earlier,
modification or
talked
adjustments
about
they can make on the
Amazon,
timing of
that's
that
the
light, so traffic flows better than what it currently does?
Already have. We are at the pre-con for the question.
Yeah, because it's like 3 cars get through it, and it's already a challenge.
Yes. So
How many times may we talk to the state about things, huh?
all the time.
All the
I
time.
mean, got a good, relationship with the state.
Do they
So,
have
but
hearing aids they could wear?
yeah, we're grateful they're doing the work and then putting the investment in, but we just got to get through it.
Oh, my Lord.
So our next regular scheduled meeting be Wednesday, April 15th at 11 a.m. And unless there's anything else, we need a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye. Aye.